a family man and the world's ablaze, but you want your home to be a comforting place. Leave your wife and children and living in an Antarctic cave.
I turn the flamingo on, and the flamingo turns me on. Ooh.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, hey!
What is this? The Fortress of Solitude?
I'm just trying to keep things low-key lately after the divorce.
Yeah, you look like a lonely guy, all right.
Okay, that was rude.
By the way, I brought you this right here.
Oh my god! Is that a magic cupboard that brings small toys and figurines to life?
I have no idea what you're talking about, kid.
Oh, from the 90s movie, Indian in the
Okay,
cupboard.
bye!
I guess this is mine now, and I'm just gonna, my responsibility, and have to deal with it.
I don't know if I should even be playing with magic. What do you think, little guy?
Surely there's a well-written and culturally sensitive piece of work that I could look to in these times of uncertainty. Oh, this ain't the one.
Indian in the Cupboard was a 1995 children's fantasy drama.
What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ! Oh my God! Oh Jesus!
Oh my!
It all figured out. White people in the 90s.
Indian in the Cupboard was in that time of filmmaking where we regularly used cultures we didn't understand as barely fleshed out plot elements, all just to tell generic feel-good stories where, hey,
You know that guy that looks like you? He turns out the hero in the end. I know. That'll be $40.
hell, it was considered insensitive back when it was released, barely being changed from the book made 15 years prior, which was also controversial even then.
So now that we know what 90s kids were dealing with, let's open up this cupboard and check out the children's classic, Indian in the Cupboard.
Okay, so this looks like the cupboard. Oh, and there's the
Indigenous American.
and another one. There's a lot of them. Is that a deer? Their original title was clearly shortened from The Indian, The Baby, and The Deer in the Cupboard. Now that's a good movie to show your wife's boyfriend. Hey guys, so the film begins with, hey! The kid dressed like a Goodwill donation box is our main character, Omri.
Oh, but of course, what better way to greet a loved one than attempted murder?
It's Omri's upper middle class birthday, and he's getting all the popular gifts, like a skateboard, an action figure, an antique cupboard that his brother found in an alleyway.
Cupboard does.
What Nintendo don't. Now you're playing with Cupboard.
Will Ferrell's dad expresses his suspicions about his eccentric wife.
I think she has secrets. I think she has secrets. I think she has secrets. I think she has
I have lots of keys.
I don't know if there was brain damage.
Omri receives a little indigenous American figurine from his friend Patrick, played by Rishi Bhatt, who literally only ever acted in this movie because 4 years later, at the age of 15, he developed the privacy software that, I shit you not, sold for a value of $1.6 million, making him a child prodigy multi-millionaire in today's money. Omri's cyborg mother, Jane, pulls out her giant collection of keys, and the second one fits.
It works! Oh, my grandmother gave me that one. She was dying and she had nothing to leave me. So I picked up that key and I said I wanted it more than anything in the whole world.
Wait, I'm sorry. You wanted a key more than anything else in the world. How about your grandmother not dying? How about your... It's a pretty nice key.
Give me the key now.
Omri places a figurine into the cupboard and closes it. The next morning, something amazing happens. It's a little close there. It's a little close.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
The Iroquois figurine is alive and in complete shock. Omri wonders what kind of warranty there is for the defective toy he... Oh, come on. Really?
Ow! You hurt me.
Yeah. Omri decides the next best course of action is complete dishonesty to his mother and father.
Did you forget something? No?
Does he ever redeem himself? Stay tuned.
No. The answer's no. The movie takes a dark psychological thriller turn. As it turns out, the little man is made of plastic, just like my ex. Realizing that his fantasy of making friends with a tiny indigenous American dude is no longer possible, he starts moping at the table, like a Nintendo fan, after Nintendo does anything.
Nice sock.
Omri hears a noise and wouldn't you know it, the Iroquois man is up and at it again.
Are you a real Indian?
Oh no, kid, you just caught me dressing up as my Sonic OC.
The man's name is Little Bear. He is from 1761 and believes Omri is some kind of omnipotent spiritual being.
Can you be the peacemaker?
Yes. Yes, I can.
I too believed all of these things after a bad batch of shellfish.
Shellfish being code word for drugs.
You are so real.
Are you young?
Cut. Okay, wow.
He ignores his request to leave
I shall go now.
But you just got here.
and gives him a plastic teepee. You know, a teepee.
Terrible.
Before turning out the lights and doing a sick trick over his bed. Omri uses his omnipotent powers to play reversed, then forwarded footage of him turning the key. He opens his cupboard to the sickest scene in the entire film. Freaking Darth Vader fighting a T-Rex, RoboCop shoots a Boone's dick off, it's amazing. Omri, being a little pussy-ass bitch, closes it all up and hides under the covers.
Make King George
Oh, no way.
a white man's gun.
Way.
How does your wife cook?
Do you have a wife?
She died.
She died.
Little Bear decides to stay temporarily and requests some tools to build a longhouse. Which is like if I flew across the country on vacation, but instead of getting a hotel room for the night, I built a fucking house. Little Bear has a stroke and then requests to go outside.
Don't run away. Please. Can I keep you?
My favorite element of the film was how they implemented the miniature special effects. It's not hard to suspend my disbelief with effects this good for the time. And the overall immersion is only enhanced by Hal Scardino's performance alongside Lightfoot. So I've been going pretty hard on Omri, but the actor that played him actually did a really good job. Hal Scardino, considering what he was given, which is shit, fantastic. Hal's cool, Omri fucking sucks. Omri gathers some supplies for Little Bear, but a bird attacks the box he's in, leaving Little Bear injured.
I need bigger weapons. I need a white man's gun.
Omri steals a box from his brother's room and brings to life and oh my god, it's esteemed actor Steve Coogan.
I mean, I did some cocaine in the early 90s. You went off the deep end.
So Omri convinces a tiny Steve Coogan that he's in a dream so that he'll use his World War I medic experience to help
A bloomin' engine.
Which sounds like an Outback Steakhouse appetizer, but now that's an offensive slur.
How?
Omri finishes using Steve Coogan and sends him back to the Shadow Realm.
Come on down and eat breakfast.
What would you like for breakfast? Granola, please.
She looks like genuinely concerned though, like,
What have you done to my malnourished son, you motherfucker?
Have I died and gone to heaven?
The undead can't die, Jane.
Omri heads to class where his classmates tell the story of
JFK. There was once a man named JFK.
while an actively employed librarian/auto repair technician manager looks on.
Omri.
I have a magic cupboard that has a magic key. put a plastic Indian in the cupboard and he came alive.
Patrick's over here real suspicious.
Hey, yeah. So I had this $1 million idea for privacy software for people that are surfing the net here in the year 1999. Yeah. Remember that super awesome action figure that Omri got for his birthday? There's the payoff. Great job, Omri. They'll never notice.
Little Bear must have made a lot of progress on his new home. Oh, wait, shit, he's done already.
It is agreeable.
Besides stealing a Mohawk person figurine, he wants to bring him to life to steal from them, obviously. In the process of this deception, the old man suffers a fatal heart attack after seeing Omri's buck-ass teeth.
Yeehaw, partner! We're gonna go harass somebody that has more melanin in their skin than us.
But first, let's take a look at the original book, written by Lynn Reed Banks.
In the book, Omri still sucks. Okay, fine. Omri was British. Little Bear was called Little Bull. On the cover, Omri is sitting there watching two of his toys fighting to the death. He's just sort of dead-eye staring at them like Meth Damon from Breaking Bad.
He's dead.
You never had a dead man here?
What? You've never had a dead man just laying in your room, dead on the ground because you killed him? I'm gonna throw up right now because of you.
You should not do magic. You do not understand.
So I had actually been thinking about the rules of the cupboard's magic. So at first I thought this is a real guy from a real time and place in history. And when he returns back to his people, he'll just pick back up where he left off from. The cupboard is essentially
A time machine.
I could get behind the idea that Omri is subtly what is this gesture? He's subtly changing the past by summoning Little Bear. Because Little Bear could go back to the cupboard, return to his people, and they'd think that he went to see the Peacemaker. But for this, nah, that's a lot. That's like, I don't know, would you change the course of the films? Would RoboCop have experience fighting that fucking thing? Like, I don't understand.
You are a child. Yes, send him back.
Where were you?
Guiding my nephew through the woods. Learn to be a man.
Omri severs his relationship with Little Bear and starts heading out.
Are you mad at me?
Yes. What did you do with him?
Omri's dad is obviously angry about him stealing his tools.
I buried them.
Those are my things. I work with them. I need them now.
What do you want me to do?
Oh my God, go unbury them. What do you mean? What am I supposed to go out and get my nails dirty?
We'll go to Yaps and buy a set.
Oh yeah, just go buy some more. Okay, yeah.
Sure, yeah, just buy some more tools. Just buy some more tools.
Just buy some more fucking tools. Oh, it's so fucking simple. You go to the store and you fucking buy.
Look, you're a little bitch.
You don't need to go with me like I'm a baby.
So Omri has the nerve to say that his father is babying him right after he just did something that a literal baby would do.
Omri's dad makes the calculated decision to let his 9-year-old son wander the 1995 streets of New York fucking City
Get the fuck out of the way.
to go buy some more tools. After literally running through traffic like fucking, Omri picks up some tools and encounters the best character in the film.
Give me the money. Hey! You! Come back! You don't deserve that hair!
Off screen, Patrick watched the whole thing and reluctantly decided to comfort his friend.
I got this guy to gold, you're Indian.
The big brothers compliment Little Bear's house, thinking Omri made it.
This is incredible.
He responds by being a giant little piece of shit.
Bring that rat in here.
I found him in here, Beavis. And my figures. And my magnifying glass.
So he gets called out for all of his thievery, and you know what he does?
Hey!
So I think the editor realized how fucked up this scene is. So they added wacky circusy music like, so fun and quirky, guys. He just abused an animal. So I switched the music to be a little bit more appropriate.
Hey!
Now, before anybody unsubscribes, the rat's okay. All right, they had stunt rats. It was probably just toys or something. They're probably not paid stunt rats.
Send me back. I want to go back.
Little Bear literally begs Omri to let him go home, but Omri's not done with him yet. Oh no.
Make another little man.
Thanks, babe.
Omri says no more men.
Show me.
Then proceeds to tell Patrick specifically everything about how the cupboard can bring stuff, like men, to life.
Enormous huge responsibility.
He then lectures Patrick on responsibility. He lectures someone else on responsibility.
Don't touch the cupboard.
Definitely don't touch the cupboard. Don't do it. Don't touch the cupboard. You better not do it. I got my eye on you. And I do. I got it right now.
So how would you respond if you found out your son was mugged in the street?
Thank you. I heard.
Dang it, I gotta get out of this cupboard. Who knows what kind of creepy stuff crawled up into here. Ah, man, none of this makes any sense. What is that? Holy fucking shit! Jesus fucking Christ! Whoa!
No, it's not a game!
Who could have seen this one coming? Nothing could have stopped it. Nothing could have stopped this.
Whoa, dang it! Whoa! Oh, no! Another drop.
He's mine. Patrick, shut your eyes!
Wake up. Hey, come on, wake up. We gotta see what Travis is up to. So Travis heads into the convenience store to grab some milk and snacks for whatever.
The man has his priorities in check, and I can tell you, Robert De Niro is a man that has a lot of calcium in his bones.
While making his selection, Travis strikes a quick pose and listens in on a robbery in progress?
I'm sorry, crime in New York City? Don't fucking lie to me. It's impossible.
He pulls out his gun and takes down the criminal empire with a single shot. You know what they say.
If you do the crime, you get shot with a bullet in the head.
The convenience store clerk assures Travis that he'll take care of it. He must encounter all kinds of violent dudes. Or chicks. Chicks can be dudes too. While Travis takes his leave, the clerk performs some healing spells on the robber.
Hey, you okay? You passed out there for a second. You were smiling, though, almost like you were dreaming of a better movie. But no.
Patrick, I want him.
Omri gives Patrick this human from the 1800s American South.
Will you bring him to school tomorrow? School?
And agrees to take them to school the next day.
Everybody's so big.
Don't put them together. You know, cowboys and Indians. Duh.
What in?
Boone goes on a racist tirade, while Omri shuts him right up. Omri buries the dead guy, never stopping to think that maybe back in the guy's world, he was just a random cosplayer, and maybe his family would like to,
Get his costume back.
Now we become reconciled.
Hey, fuck what you heard. Back in the 90s, there were exactly two gimmicks, Bunny Monkey and the mystical Indian. One with the earth and nature's spirit, using their borderline magical powers to send a dear spirit like a Final Fantasy summoner. Hollywood was not so kind with this gimmick, though. In some films produced and directed by Indigenous Americans, they actually make fun of the stereotype.
Oh God, yep. This is my fetish.
After hundreds of years of portraying Indigenous Americans as bloodthirsty savages out to steal your wife and delete your Pokemon Blue save file, 90s film studio executives decided to make up for it by promoting their label from savages to noble savages. Indian in the Cupboard, despite having had some interjection, was still, as Alicia Elliott wrote, a flawed film made by non-Indigenous people based on a flawed book by a non-Indigenous author that mixed a lazy, inaccurate version of my people's culture and history with lazy, inaccurate stereotypes to reinforce our dehumanization before a large public audience.
So IGN would probably say that that's a 9 out of 10.
Does she know of me?
No.
I'm alone.
This poor guy, brought to a world of giants he doesn't understand.
I need a wife.
I mean, maybe he's confused, but he's got his priorities in check. Okay, now it's starting to get good. Okay, yeah.
Stop, behave.
Oh my God.
Behave. It's too risky.
Whiskey? Where did you come from? Texas, Mr. Half a Brain.
Ah, yes, the ever-drunk, trigger-happy 1800s cowboy.
I'm Mr. Standard Texan boy. Hey, buddy. I'm a Standard Texan. I'm a Standard. Yeah.
So Omri takes him to school, forcing 2 grown men to get along inside of a child's fanny pack.
School, remember?
You kids are acting like there's a miniature Iroquois indigenous American and a cowboy from the year 1879 in your fanny pack.
Not like me. I only keep my miniature SCP-106 inside of my fanny pack.
All right, thank you very much.
You ever been west of Mississippi?
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Thank you very much.
Yes, that presentation was amazing, creative, and meter.
Will you marry again, little bear?
If there is a woman for me.
Damn.
Omri gets stopped by his teacher when he sees Patrick about to show off his tiny little men.
As you know, I gotta get going to computer class.
What the fuck is a computer?
I'll show you. No! What are you doing? Are you crazy? I'm just having fun.
Hey, hello.
Their teacher, Mr. Kneel Down, tries to get to the bottom of this, the floor.
I could. They're people. You can't use people.
You little fuck. That's what you've been doing the whole time.
Show me what's in your pouch, please.
They're just plastic toys. Plastech people. They're just completely plastic. Plastic.
That's fine, Omri. Fine.
Plastech.
Yes.
They're just
Small soldiers.
Sam.
JFK.
Oh, it's the JFK Kid again. What's up?
It's a wife.
Okay, I'm sorry, excuse me, but first, women trafficking? Come on. Second, what the hell does that kid have in his hand? Well, this just isn't historically accurate. Patrick slinks towards Omri's bedroom while Omri provides back support. I'm not really sure what he's doing here. Where he shows Little Bear the woman he's arranged for marriage.
It's a wife.
It's a waif.
A wife.
But then he notices the cupboard's missing.
Not like my cupboard, which is sitting right over. Oh no. Oh God, where's the boy? Where's the bobblehead boy? Where have they taken my boy? Where?
I'm gonna make it. Cockroaches, are you flying?
Oh, bro, rocket roaches!
Fuck yeah! Whoa, wow, whoa! Neighbors are probably watching me. Yeah, this is so cool! Yeah! Yeah!
Omri has the audacity to barge into his brother's room, accusing them of theft.
Where's my rap ball?
Exactly, shithead.
Omri notices the key is missing, trapping his prisoners in this world forever.
I want to go home. God sure do play with men, all right.
There is no God here.
A children's classic for the ages, Indian in the Cupboard. There is no God here.
Omri's brothers go to hang out with their definitely high school-aged friends, which gives them an opportunity to listen to some sick tunes on MTV.
It's not real.
Oh, it's real, all right, son.
And it's about to get a whole lot realer. So for Little Bear and Boone, listening to this type of music has got to be like the most insane thing ever for their brain. It's like the first time I ever heard Extratone. I want to play this at my wedding. This is what I wanted.
Disgusting display.
Let's change to Discovery Channel.
Boone starts to have an insane power fantasy while watching indigenous Americans get murdered on screen, while Little Bear looks on in horror. Jesus fucking Christ, it just keeps going. Boone gets an arrow to the chest, and being that they lost the key, they can't summon Steve Coogan to come save the film. Save Boone. Little Bear explains that Boone might bleed out if he pulls out the arrow without any kind of bandaging, so he pulls out the arrow without any kind of bandaging. Omri's mom comes in to make Patrick uncomfortable and tell them there's a rat under their floor.
What?
They decide to take turns keeping watch for the rat, and Patrick gives a tempting offer.
If you go first, I'll give you $1 million.
This is probably the only instance in which a kid saying that could actually make it happen. Hal Scardino, if you're watching this, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Just go get your money, bro. Little Bear uses his rattle to perform a spiritual ceremony over Boone during these times of strife. This disturbs our lovable hero, who looks over at them with a freaking death glare and then goes back to sleep on the job. But wait, the rat! Omri breaks off a floorboard in the house his parents paid for and reaches in. Little Bear decides his only escape out of this hellhole is to risk his life by going to grab it himself.
Please, Little Bear, come back. Why won't he come? Why won't he come?
They summon Steve Coogan to heal Boone's egregious injury. Hell yeah, dude. Steve gets straight to work, and Omri runs to the medicine cabinet.
I was running through the 6 with my wall.
Omri finally came to his senses and decides it's time to let all of them go home. Little Bear hears the news that he will no longer be a prisoner and looks on the verge of tears. Steve's expensive time on set is up, so Omri releases him back to the comfort of war as Boone comes back to consciousness. Omri starts packing up the woman he stole to take back to school. Oh, no, he's trying to bring her to life.
I'm sorry, did we skip a scene? Like, what the fuck is happening? We already went over this.
When we go back, are we going back to the last thing we remember, or are we going ahead?
See. Now, this is what I was talking about. Are they going forward in time? Are they going backwards? Is Little Bear resuming his trip with his nephew? Did the nephew just watch him Thanos snap into the air? You know what? Why do I even bother? It's a half-baked idea in a movie made for kids based off of a book made for kids. Also, kids are stupid, so I win.
Little Bear explains life if Omri were to come back to where he came from.
You would live by yourself.
He recounts his time to the class, and we linger on this heartfelt moment.
That's all.
Very nice.
One day, JFK was killed. He was shot.
The fucking JFK Kid. The JFK Kid is still in the fucking background. Like, what? This is the best character of the whole fucking film besides the bully.
The film ends with Omri trying to hold in a sneeze, then being proud of himself for holding it in.
I guess if this movie's taught me anything, it's that you shouldn't play God. Or do play God and just don't suck at it. Well, I think I've done enough damage here today. Best not to toy with powers I don't understand. I'd rather go for a walk.
But I'll leave it empty, just in case.
What the fuck?
It was directed by Frank Oz. Based on a 1980s
Jesus fucking Christ! Oh my God! Oh Jesus! Oh my! Nope.
White people.
Oh, this. You like it? This is what Lightfoot went on to do after he acted as Little Bear. It's pretty good. I don't know if he'd become a rap artist. His lyrics would be these lyrics you're hearing.
The tomahawk's flies. Fuck a treaty, the white man's greedy.
Oh dear, okay.
The tomahawk's